I'm Stevi.
I'm Tonya. Welcome to Lesbians Eat Out,
your go-to channel
for all your eating out reviews.
So, this week,
we are going to discuss our planned date night.
Yes.
And we planned a date night. Well, actually, you tell them because it was your plan.
Okay, I asked Tonya out on a date because she's fantastic and deserves to be treated like the fantastic queen that she is.
Oh, baby.
That's how I feel.
Okay, then.
So I know how much that this woman loves to dress up and get fancy and gorgeous. Not that she isn't every second of the day, but extra gorgeous. So I wanted to take her to a little more high-end restaurant. Now, I will say, being in the Lansing area, there's not a lot of well-known high-end restaurants around, really. I think that, and maybe that's just more the crowd that we hang out with. We tend to be a little more laid back. We go to a little bit more laid back establishments.
I can see that being
in our age group, it's not like everyone just has a ton of disposable income to throw around at, $100, $200 night dinners. So it's a little bit of a more special thing for us. But in any case, I wanted to give her the opportunity to feel like the fantastic queen that she is. So I invited her to join me at Capital Prime, which is probably the most well-known upscale high-end restaurant in the greater Lansing area. So we got dressed up.
Yes, we did. I wore heels.
She did. And I opened the car door for her and we embarked on our journey to Capital Prime. And
so if you are new to the channel, I like to cover all things service and atmosphere. Stevie covers the menu and the cost breakdown. Okay, so Capital Prime, high-end establishment. When you walk in, it is actually beautiful. It is very pretty. One of the things that was a little different is there were actually about 4 or 5 people hanging out at the hostess stand when we first entered. And it wasn't like they were rude or impolite, but they were clearly not busy enough to have things to do, that they were all just standing up there chit-chatting. So, I mean, on a professional look, probably not the greatest for, when people are coming into your restaurant, especially if that, if they want a specific experience. But outside of that, the hostess was fine.
Just on that point, I would like to say, as like a person with anxiety, it stressed me out how many people were there because there is no direction as to who am I supposed to talk to?
That's also a very good point.
Who do I greet? There's 4 sets, there's 4 pairs of eyes looking at me. Another person walked up. Everyone just kind of like looking at you, and without having like a direct, they were all behind a counter, so no one stepped forward to isolate themselves from that group. So for me, it was very off-putting, to be honest. And again, they weren't rude or impolite or even really unprofessional. It was a lot walking in the door to just have like a crew of people like, yes, what can any one of us do for you? I'm like, who do I look at?
I will say, as a person who does not have anxiety, and I'm totally fine with people, it still was weird. Like, just from a customer service standpoint, I was like, okay. But other than that, we were seated immediately. Did you try to call ahead? Like you did, you did reservations just in case, right? Yeah, so they
actually did not have call ahead seating, but they did allow me to make a reservation same day.
Okay.
Which I appreciate that they had reservations available. It's one of my
fair.
pet peeves of nicer restaurants.
That's
when
fair.
you can't reserve.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the reservation, we were able to be seated right away. I think it was the middle of the week, right? I think it was like the middle of the week. So I'm not saying that you can just go in and be seated all the time. Maybe it was day specific. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
No, it was a Saturday night.
So you can make a reservation.
Earlier in the day, though.
So you can make a reservation. Oh my God. So you can make it. So you can make a reservation. Sometimes you may need to, sometimes you may not, but we were able to get right in even without having that reservation.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere is, like I said, it's very beautiful inside. I'll get to that in a minute. It had a really good tone for romance. It was very romantic. The lighting was very dim, but not so dim that you couldn't appreciate and enjoy your food. Mm-hmm. It was relatively quiet in there. We had probably like 3 other tables surrounding us, and even then it never felt like too much and like we were too close to people. The spacing with the seating was fantastic, quite frankly.
Yeah, the acoustics were really good too, to feel like you weren't in a room full of other people.
Yeah. The server, she was great. She was very knowledgeable about their evening specials. She was very friendly and personable. As it pertains to being an LGBTQ plus establishment, again, there was no signage that said that they were. There was no flags or stickers or anything like that. But again, because we're us, we were holding hands and our server came to chat with us, and like, no big deal, right?
Yeah.
Because it's normal for people to love each other and hold their hands.
Especially in a romantic atmosphere.
100%.
Well, and we certainly did lean across. We sat against a corner from each other, so Tonya on this side, me on this side.
Yeah.
And we did lean across the corner to kiss a couple of times because she just looks so beautiful. I couldn't help myself.
So, anyway, I love you. So yeah, it was great. My one
caveat.
I'm gonna poo-poo the interior right now, y'all. Here's the thing. It looks beautiful upon entrance, and I will say that I did actually visit the establishment when it was first open, like a month or 2 when it was first open. And it does have an appearance of being very beautiful. However, I think it's time for some upgrades. I could tell with like the booth seating that they had, like it had like faux leather, and that was starting to peel off, and you could see that it wasn't as new as it had been.
It's definitely had some wear and tear that has not been consistently maintained and addressed over the years that they've been open.
Yeah, so it's beautiful inside, don't get me wrong. It does lend to a very romantic feel. However, there are some updates that could be done to the establishment just to kind of give it that, to keep that high-end feel, right? So that's the only one thing that I had about that. But other than that, our service was fantastic. Our server was great. The atmosphere was great. It wasn't super loud. And there was like a party, I think like a party of 8 people, not too far from us. And even then, it didn't feel like you couldn't really hear them that much.
Yeah, I almost never heard them at all. I barely noticed them, actually.
Yeah. And
granted, they were on the other side of the restaurant, but still.
I mean, they weren't super far.
Not on the other side, but like not really in the same room, if you will, as us, just like adjacent.
Yeah, but even so, sometimes having a party that large, you can tend to hear people. So it was really great.
And it's not like they in general were being quiet.
Yeah.
Just, not that they were overly rambunctious, but they were having a good time for sure.
Yeah. So, and the other thing too, I kind of guess this is going to lead us into the menu portion here real quick though. Our server was fantastic at making recommendations, especially when I was having a difficult time trying to choose between a couple of different dishes.
Right.
And also trying to choose between, I think, our appetizer too. She was pretty helpful in making that decision.
Yeah.
But before we get to the menu with Stevie, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button.
Share the video.
Share the video. We love doing this. We would be doing this even if we weren't recording it, because this is how we enjoy our dining experiences. But we love sharing this with you guys, and we appreciate our subscribers, and we just would love to get more people to help us decide where we should go next. So hit the like and subscribe button and share.
Yes. So, speaking of places we love to eat, the food. I mean, obviously, it's a high-end, it is touted as a high-end establishment. It is one of the nicer places in the area to go. The menu makes that obvious. You know, they are kind of a steak and seafood restaurant. Oddly enough, neither of us got steak or seafood, which is kind of, I say oddly because Tanya's big into steak.
I love steak.
Yes, and they do have really good premium cuts of steak. Definitely one of the go-to places if you are a steak person.
Can I just pause you right there for just a second?
suppose.
Okay, this place is so good, and I have only ever heard of this steak cut on Food Network, y'all. Wagyu.
The A5 Wagyu.
Yeah, I think it's like Japanese beef cut or something. Like it's
very
it's
high-end
above
beef.
filet mignon
By a bit.
by a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, the price is unlisted because it is priced as market value, which changes on a daily basis depending on the supply available and whatnot. So it is definitely.
But one day I will go there and try that meat.
Yes.
One
I told
day.
her she could have anything she wanted except for that.
That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, I love you so much, but that particular cut of steak was not in the budget for the night.
No. So anyways, that's just so you're aware. That's the level of upscale we have with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly. So, so obviously they have a very good menu as far as higher end ingredients, higher end offerings. They had, we actually ordered an appetizer of mushroom bruschetta, which was really good. It was like cheese and mushrooms, and was it a balsamic kind of glaze sauce over top?
Yeah, the cheese had like it was like a garlic chive cream.
Yeah, very nice, soft. I don't think it was a goat cheese. It might have been like more of a brie type. I forget what it was specifically. I will say, as a mushroom bruschetta, some of the other flavors really did overpower the mushroom, which was disappointing because we both really love mushrooms and mushroom flavor. But the glaze and the cheese were really good. They just kind of overpowered that other flavor that we were really excited about. So that was the only downside though, but altogether as an appetizer, well put together, well proportioned, easy to share.
And it did have caramelized onions on it too.
Yes.
Because that's, so I think I had like a garlic chive cream cheese, kind of creamy cheese, and then it had the caramelized onions. The mushroom flavor was lost.
Yeah, a little bit. So, as far as entrees go, we ended up actually both getting pasta, and it's funny because Tanya was torn between the same two pasta dishes as I was torn on. So we just got one of each.
Yeah, but can we also just talk about how, so like a lot of times if we really each want a dish, we'll just get it and then split it in half. But we were both very adamant that we were not sharing our dishes. We could try it, but we weren't sharing. Yeah.
I mean, I got a butternut squash ravioli, which I was actually surprised because their menu does very much have seasonal variety offerings. So butternut squash to me is very much a fall flavor. However, I do love some butternut squash.
Well, it also had the brown butter.
Yes, so it's a brown butternut squash ravioli.
With?
And I love ravioli.
You're forgetting one thing.
The sage.
Yeah.
Yes, with sage, which was delicious. It was cooked perfectly, the sage on top. I mean, everything was cooked perfectly, honestly. The kitchen does a really good job there. But yeah, all the flavors were really delicious. But as with most higher end places, when you order ravioli, you only get so many raviolis. And I did not want to share them. I did share them a little bit because I love Tonya, but I didn't want to share them at all because they were really good.
I love you, baby.
Very, very rich.
It was so good. And then I got garlic Alfredo pasta with capitavi. I think that's I'm gonna have to Google this, y'all. Anyways, the spirally noodles, but not the spirally noodles. So anyways, I got a pasta dish with a garlic cream sauce. It had peppers in it, red, yellow, orange peppers in it. It had mushrooms, and then it had a very well done piece of boneless chicken breast, which was fantastic.
And by very well done, she doesn't mean it was overcooked.
Yeah.
Just very well executed.
Very well done.
Which is confusing.
Yes, it was cooked perfectly. It was still very flavorful. It was very juicy, which is really hard to do sometimes with chicken, especially depending on what restaurant you go to. But again, this is a steak place, and if you can cook good steak, you should probably be able to cook good chicken. But the dish was fantastic.
Yeah, the food was
And I shared some of my pasta with Stevie because I love her.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't want to. But she shared with me even though she didn't want to. So here we are.
True.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes this dream work, for
It
sure.
really does.
For sure. We also each had a glass of wine.
So, truth be told, I am a big old baby about my wine. I like a good sweet wine. I do not like red wine. I do not like dry wine. I like it a sweet wine. And so I did order the Moscato, as always. Never fails. Good go-to.
Kind of true.
That is true.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, got a nice Malbec, which, you know, might not have been the best pairing for a butternut squash ravioli, but I do love a good Malbec, and it actually went with the bruschetta really well. But yeah, the wine selection was actually really good. I mean, as to be expected for a nicer restaurant, they should have a good selection of wines.
I will say that my Moscato went really well with my dish. It was a good, it really did. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, and also you have the capability to go buy glass or to go buy the whole entire bottle as well if you're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, for sure. So really great wine selection, really good food selection. I mean, they did have a lot of steak and they had a lot of seafood options, but they also had other things, you know, good Italian selection. Definitely great menu selection, and the execution was on point, really on point.
Also, so was the dessert.
Yes. So they do have a dessert menu. They had maybe 5 or 6 things on the dessert menu. We went with the strawberry creme brulee.
So good.
Yes, it was.
Fantastic.
I am a huge creme brulee lover personally. And this was like, it had a strawberry garnish, but it also had like an under layer of almost like a strawberry compote. It was just very, very subtle, very light, perfect texture. Really well done. We did share that. It was difficult to share, I mean. Honestly, dessert was delicious. It was not the only dessert that looked really good, but you know,
it's her go-to though.
It was my go-to, and Tonya was sweet enough to indulge me and let me get that. Not that she didn't love it too, but it's certainly more of my thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I just looked up the menu today just because I was very curious. A couple of things. The pasta dish that I got, is not on there. So they do change their menu frequently, and the creme brulee, totally different.
Yeah. So definitely seasonal offerings, which I really appreciate. I like to kind of eat with the seasons personally.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so as far as a cost breakdown.
But wait, there's more. Just make sure you like and subscribe.
You're such a dork.
I am.
Yeah, so as far as the cost breakdown, higher end place, higher end prices, sure. So we got 1 appetizer, 2 glasses of wine, we had 2 entrees and 1 dessert. It was a total of $100.
Nice.
Even. Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Super easy to do the tax and tip when it's a nice even number like that. So $100 for the meal, 6% sales tax in Michigan, so it was $6 in tax, and we tipped $20. Standard, very standard. Actually, I might have tipped a little bit more than that. I forget, to be honest. I wrote down 25, but I didn't keep the copy of the receipt that actually had the tip amount that I put in there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so basically $126 for a full 3-course meal with wine. And yeah, I'm not mad about it. I've spent more money for less fantastic food, and you know, I would say that the cost for what you're getting is reasonable.
And also, here's the thing too, like, I mean, unless you're like balling, you know, I don't think a lot of people are going to be going there weekly or monthly for a meal. So like if there is a fantastic special occasion, an anniversary, a birthday, something like that, it would be it's a great place to go to just to celebrate something special for sure.
Yeah. Prom.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anytime.
I didn't even go to prom, so.
Me either.
Hey.
Hey. So back to, okay, so
I love that we just high-fived though.
Me too.
Not going to prom.
Right. Okay, so, and now here's the ultimate question that we love for every episode. Who got the check?
Who got the check?
Who did get the check?
I'll give you 3 guesses. No?
Was it you, or did she put it like in the center?
Oh no, it was 100% me.
Yeah.
I definitely got the check.
Okay. Here's the thing. I feel like we've been getting
the collared shirts, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're fantastic on you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We have been getting so many checks kind of just sat in the center of the table on the edge where it's like just in between, that it's been a minute since somebody has visibly gotten the check.
Yes. It was me.
To be fair, she was the one that took me out on the date.
I mean, the waitress wasn't wrong. I'm just saying it's an assumption that is made. I understand it. I think it's funny.
It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, because I don't pay every time.
No, that's also true. Right. And even sometimes when you don't pay and I pay and I clearly hand the checkbook,
they still your card back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. That has happened.
Okay, so now, first of all, the reason that we ate there, I think we covered this, was because we wanted a fancy date night.
Nice date night.
Nice date night. Something a little more high-end than we usually do. But what are our top 3 shout-outs?
I'm going to have to say, I'm going to have to go with food execution. I know that's usually one of my shout-outs, but like, I just really appreciate it. I've been to some places that they're not good. I'm sure eventually we'll cover a not good place.
Eventually. You know what? Sorry, but speaking of, we have yet to cover a really terrible place.
Which is funny because when we started dating, we went to a lot of terrible places.
We've had a lot of bad experiences.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least, yeah.
should.
Getting back to our top 3 shout outs for a place that we did enjoy. Definitely food execution. It was to be expected, certainly.
Very true.
But you know, the expectations can be met or not, and
True.
they certainly did meet the expectation of high-end flavor profile and execution. Everything was cooked very well.
Yeah. The second top shout out is going to be the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
While I did give them a little snub regarding some of the updates that need to happen, overall it was a very romantic atmosphere, and I truly feel like it's very difficult to find that, especially here in the Lansing area. I feel like we are definitely a group of people, maybe not just our friends, but just in general as a city, we're very chilled and laid back. And so sometimes I think it's very difficult to find a good romantic atmosphere. And the other thing, in addition to that, is I didn't feel uncomfortable being romantic with my person. And I know that sometimes, depending on where you're at, even if it is a romantic atmosphere, you may not feel comfortable, especially if you're in a queer relationship. Our server, totally cool, definitely chill about it. So that was one of my second shout out for sure.
Definitely. So what was the third shout out?
Service.
Yeah,
She was awesome.
she was.
Damn it, we got to start getting our servers' names so we can give them a shout out by name for sure.
Our server really was good. She was very non-intrusive, and we have talked about this in the past. We have this Midwest niceness that can very quickly and easily be overdone to the point of being almost annoying, because I'm not there to visit with my server.
That's true.
Honestly, like, the small talk is fine to a point. And then I'm here to be with Tonya and enjoy our time together. And I don't need to have a whole conversation with my server or, you know, any of the service staff.
Yeah. She did a very good job of balancing the Midwest niceness and efficiency.
Yes. She was very sweet and polite, made a couple of jokes with us, but definitely not intrusive in any way, which, again, very appreciated.
Also, I did like the fact that not only was she able to tell us the specials, which I feel like servers should be able to do that, but honestly, sometimes they can't. That's fair. But not only did she do that, but she was also able to give really great suggestions when asked, and very confident in her suggestions when she gave them.
Yeah. She didn't just suggest things, she said why, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I would suggest this because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really, like, in a place like that where who knows what we really like, and if we're asking for someone else's opinion, we want their opinion, but you know what someone's looking for. Sometimes I might not get what's recommended to me based on why someone's recommending it, if those are not things that I prefer.
Fair.
So, you know, I really appreciated that she gave the whys behind the whats.
Very fair. And so that brings us to
the licks.
The licks.
How many licks?
So please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button and share the video with anybody that you know that you think would love to learn a little bit more about the awesome foods that we have reviewed.
Yes.
So we gave Capital Prime a
4.5.
solid 4.5. Well, I guess it's not a solid 4.5. It's a half. We gave
a strong 4.5 licks.
Yes.
Skip the last tongue flick just because, you know, they could do more to really pull together all of that high-end, you know, hype that they get, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, maintain a little bit more of that, you know, clean atmosphere. Replace some of your worn out furniture, maybe refinish some of your worn out flooring.
Yeah. And also give your hostess staff or whoever they are things to do so they are not all at the hostess desk when they don't need to be there.
Right, or maybe have a different meeting area if you need to discuss,
also,
you know,
true.
stuff. Because they did seem to be talking about work-related things, but maybe there's a better place you can do that that's not right in front of the front door at the hostess stand.
Fair.
Like, I understand it's a lot of where the coordinating happens, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Stevie.
I'm Tonya.
Thank you for watching
Lesbians Eat Out.